Welcome to episode 53 of Winging It. The answer was Munoz, Samuel Hesketh. Let's just remind ourselves of what you said last week.
By the way, again, I've said it before, Munoz ain't scoring for Palace.
Yeah. Reverse psychology is real. Nailed it. You're welcome.
He listened to the podcast and was just like...
Took it personally. Didn't take it that fucking personally when you missed the open goal.
Well,
no.
Sorry.
I very much enjoyed your picture that you sent Albert that we shared on Blue Sky.
Oh, did we share that on Blue Sky?
I
must log in.
What did it say? Was it
I don't
suck
know.
my cojones? Hesketh.
Suck my... You are absolutely right. Suck my cojones, El Hesketh. Sounds about right.
Yeah, it does sound about right.
Right. A few apologies this week. Firstly, apologies for my voice. That's why we're coming at you a day late, because I've been suffering with flu all week and I've only just got my voice back today. So I won't be drinking beer. So there's no beer check other than the lovely bottle of Peroni that Albert's sipping on.
Thank you. Nearly finished. Happy
Hesketh's,
to have a decent beer for you, mate.
Hesketh's on some mango coolie.
Yeah.
Coolie.
Mango and blood orange, and it is just flavoured water, Albert, before you start peppering me with abuse.
No, no. I wouldn't do that.
In other apologies for scuppering the Botofogo choke, because they've done far from choke in winning their top of the table clash with Palmeiras to go 3 points clear, and then backing it up last night, I think, with a win against the fourth place team to go one game out now, 3 points clear, one game left at the top of the league, and for the first time in their history won the Copa Libertadores.
Unbelievable.
Now, we was all expecting a bit of this after 30 seconds of the final.
Gentlemen, you played a good game. It's not your fault, but this is fucking corruption.
I mean, when I saw red card after 30 seconds to Botafogo, I was like, Texter's going to be losing his fucking mind. But Hesketh,
yeah,
got to say it was a pretty fair red card.
Yeah, I turned on about 30 seconds after it had happened and was like, oh, getting sent off after a minute or 2 minutes pretty rough. And then they showed the replay of someone who, the opposition player was sort of bent over a bit, but not that far. And the Botafogo player just punted him in the head. Like, it's probably the most red card I've ever seen. And I was just thinking, if you spend your whole career like this is the pinnacle of my career now, I'm in the Champions League final. I spent my whole career waiting for this. And then 2 minutes later, you kick someone's head off and you're done. Strange. But yes, not corruption.
Well, not unless he was had money on himself getting sent off.
That's true. What's Paqueta up to these days? He might have had a bit on it.
Charging down free kicks before the whistle's gone.
Oops. Yeah, but no, well done to Botafogo. Like, they went on, despite going down to 10 men after 30 seconds, they went on to win 3-1 and to claim their first ever Copa Libertadores. And probably looks like they're going to back it up with a double this week. So going well for Texter there. Not so much elsewhere. Right, we've drawn Stockport in the FA Cup.
On the pitch if we win.
Well, at Selhurst. It was a fucking long third round draw, wasn't it? Coming out as the penultimate ball. But, you know, it's a great tie for advancing. So hopefully, although so notoriously we have struggled in these kind of third round ties in the past. But Albert, some cracking ties for lower league clubs within that round after quite brilliantly Dion Dublin drawing Manchester United away at Arsenal in Old Trafford was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then who's that? What's the that Man United content creator guy?
Oh, the one that goes,
Yeah.
look at I'm
Goldbridge.
sick of it.
Yeah, he's like, it's a fix. He's like, you watch, Man City are going to draw the dog and duck at home. And Man City come out and he's like, ready? And it's Salford. And he's like, I told you.
Balls in the fridge. And Liverpool got Accrington, is that right?
Yeah.
They did. Who are they?
Leeds, Harrogate, bloody great draw. Bromley got Newcastle away.
Mm-hmm.
Tamworth got Spurs at home. Yeah, some real distribution of funds into the lower leagues are occurring in that round, that's for sure. So, but that's what you want the FA Cup third round to be, right?
Yeah, magic of the cup. Best day in the football, best weekend in the football calendar.
Oh, and not to mention, of course, Stockport getting Mighty Palace. Massive, massive tie for them as well.
I hear the broadcasters have come in big for that one.
Well, I think there was 6 TV ties in the third round last year. So I think the initial 6 fixtures we talked about are probably going to be the ones that get there. And then I think probably if there's some sort of fixture clashes or, they can't quite fit them in around the time, Palace Stockport is probably next on the list along with Ipswich Bristol Rovers, I'd imagine, given that it's Premier League against lower league. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it won't be. Hopefully it'll be 3:00 on the Saturday for us. That'll be ideal. But
and no Teo for them because he'll be cup tied.
Yeah, but hopefully we will see some Clint Hill and Matt Jansen content because both of them are on the coaching staff at Stockport. So some good memories to be had and shared.
All right, maybe I won't go on the pitch because Clint Hill probably...
It's not him
Offer
you
you
got to
out.
worry about. You just got Nicky Kyle just appearing out of fucking woodwork. Riding in on his kangaroo. We had fucking inundated with Palace on TV. Absolutely
What we got?
inundated.
What we got?
We're in a Monty Python sketch where
Right.
a barber is having inner conflicts as being a murderer. He's trying to cut people's hair, but all he wants to do is kill them. And he just as part of that he says that he more enjoys watching Palace these days. So it's nice.
I enjoyed that one. That was good.
Bloods, which is a more recent TV show about ambulance drivers. I think it's a comedy. They filmed an episode in Selhurst. Episode
Nice.
of The Bill also filmed in Selhurst from way back in the day, where one of the guys from The Bill goes undercover to infiltrate some England football hooligans.
Nice. I used to drive past Sunhill Station from when I lived in Kingston and would drive to Palace. Would always drive past Sunhill Station on the way. So that one's quite poignant for me.
Am I mixing up with when was it? Is that The Bill? Or
That's
was that
Black Beauty, I think.
Yeah, that's not the bill. I'm not going to sing the bill, but it's got quite a memorable
Am I
theme
thinking
tune.
was that Casualty or something? Or,
Do it again.
I can't even remember what I did now. Fucking hell, I can't remember. My brain is like fudge.
If anyone can guess what that is, then
Email in.
I would have. Yeah.
Fucking talking of Black Beauty. Side note, considering we love to talk about American singers, I had a cursory look at buying Lana Del Rey tickets at Wembley, and so they were £171 for standing. Fucking
171.
yeah.
If it was 170,
before
fine.
fees, before Ticketmaster starts going, no.
That's
Fucking
ridiculous.
outrageous. Yeah. There's graffiti in 3 separate TV shows. Palace graffiti in the background. We've got one in EastEnders it's I don't know what episode it's from, obviously, or anything like that. But it's who's that girl in it who looks like she's chewed on a late tackle from Will Hughes? Fucking short grey hair.
Little Mo, Big Mo.
Shirley? No.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think I know who you
Big
mean.
Mo? It could be Big Mo.
No, Big Mo was the
Little Mo.
Little Mo was one who had the gravy poured over her head.
No, I think it was Shirley. I think it's Shirley.
Shirley. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's standing in front of, it says CPFC and Eagles, and then someone's written WHUFC over it, which is kind of, akin to every transfer we try and make. So I thought it was quite fitting.
Yeah.
Nick Moran's movie, The Kid. Now, Nick Moran's obviously Simon Jordan's mate.
Mm-hmm.
What was Simon Jordan's mate? Don't know how much they speak.
Has he
these
appeared
days.
in the book yet, Albert?
No, not yet. Not got to that part yet. But I do know someone, one of an art director that works for me, who worked on Telstar.
Okay. No further comment.
Not on
Not on record.
recording.
Okay,
When we get
cool.
Simon Jordan on, maybe we'll address it then.
But yeah, some Palace graffiti in that as well, and also Peep Show. There's some Palace graffiti in an episode of Peep Show apparently. So yeah, I think I'll share the EastEnders one. I'll share a picture of that on the socials. It's a good one.
Nice.
Yeah. And then away from this, why be light-hearted when we can talk about rainbow laces and armbands? So, unless you've been living under a rock, for some reason, the whole world has decided to focus on Mark Gay writing "I love Jesus" and "Jesus loves you" on his rainbow armband. Less so on the people who are refusing to wear them completely. But it's kicked up quite the storm. Anyone got anything overly pressing they want to say about it?
Well, I originally misread it because I didn't notice it at the game.
We didn't get a chance to get the fucking binoculars out.
Yeah, don't have the eyesight for that. So the first thing I saw was just an image of it, and I misread it because the way he'd written it looked like it said "I love Captain Jesus," and I didn't know if that was a new Marvel superhero or not that I wasn't aware of. But obviously the story then comes out, and here we are.
That's some interesting use of budget by Disney Plus trying to push them.
Yeah. Bloody woke Disney.
No. Hesketh, any thoughts before I inevitably lose my mind for about 45 seconds?
I mean, I'll probably, you and I probably share the same feelings. Yeah, I mean, it's an initiative that I think is very good. I know Glasner came out and was like, obviously we'd love to have a world in which this sort of discrimination doesn't exist. I know some people I'm sure think that it would be nice to have a world in which we don't need to do the rainbow laces sort of thing. But unfortunately, we do live in a world with a lot of very short-sighted people. And I think, I'm well aware that we're three straight white blokes doing a football podcast here. There is a lot of stuff that I've read over the years about people from the LGBT community, from communities that are not particularly well represented at football, who are saying, how hard it is to go, how they feel like an outsider, like an other, and initiatives like this go some way, small way, admittedly, to helping them feel more welcomed and part of the community, which they should, obviously. So when things like this sort of come out, it's sad that a lot of the people who are seemingly backing Mark Gay, and we'll get onto his actual messages, are those people who are very Nigel Farage, for want of a better phrase.
Palace fans.
just people in the media.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, like, my opinion is, yeah, you should wear it. I mean, I'm not religious. I don't want to get in the ins and outs of what's written in the Bible or the Torah or the Quran because I don't know. But I think especially if you're a captain of a club that's representing a football team and a city and a community, and it's something that's for inclusivity, I think you should be a part of that. Now, when the first thing came out from the Newcastle game of Gay having written something in the armband, I don't know if I didn't know if he wrote that on every armband. I got no idea. I assume not, because otherwise it wouldn't have been such a big deal.
No, he doesn't. I went and looked at pictures to confirm that he doesn't.
And then the wording, it's a bit like it. Like I can see people being like, "Well, why is he writing? Does he not want to support this campaign?" But he's doing that, but adding the message. The second message in the Ipswich game was "Jesus loves you," I think, which does feel a lot more inclusive. And he has since come out and said that he sees it as a message of love and inclusivity, which, taken at face value, fine. I'm okay with that. But I think the fact that he's had to come out and explain what it is, even though he thinks it's self-explanatory, kind of shows it's not as self-explanatory as he perhaps thinks it is. Not helped at all by, which I'm sure you can pick up on, T, his dad talking to the Mail, of all papers, about people having a go at his son. So I'll leave it to you there.
Who he hadn't spoken to.
Yeah, that was the most pertinent bit of the whole thing for me, is going on this big tirade and then saying, well, I don't know the story because I haven't spoken to him about it. So, yeah, I think it's a shame that a lot has come out of this, and I hope, because obviously, I mean, like I say, I'll take Mark's comments at face value that he is trying to promote a message of inclusivity. I hope that's true, because I think if it's anything other than that, then that's a very sad state of affairs and not something I would support.
Yeah, and it feels like a weird... Even if he's coming from the best intentions possible, and it is about, like, you know what, best case scenario here, he's saying, I love Jesus, Jesus loves you. I mean, find someone who loves you like Mark Gay loves Jesus, I guess, is the real message here. And he's saying that I am both a Christian and I support LGBTQ rights. Like, that's best case scenario, right? That's what he's doing. In his interviews that he's talked about it, beats around the fucking bush with the language he uses, and he doesn't straight come out and say, I support LGBTQ rights. So as far as I'm concerned, he's still left it far too fucking ambiguous.
Yeah.
And then backed up by with his dad come flying in and giving it that this is belief against belief, that LGBTQ people were trying to impose themselves on people, is just fucking rank language as far as I'm concerned. And I can only speak from the standpoint of having, you know, as you say, we're three straight white men or whatever, but I have a lot of gay, lesbian, queer friends, family members across the board. And so this is obviously a very emotive subject for me, but taking my eldest sister, who is a lesbian, there ain't no belief versus belief here. She ain't gone out to be a lesbian for the fucking crack of it and have a laugh and be like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll make my fucking life difficult as possible in those things. It's not about, and I'm sorry to offend you, you said you haven't read those books. I've read the Quran, I've read the Bible, New and Old Testament, I've read the Torah, I've read all of those. Basically, it's a book. This ain't a belief. This is someone's life that they're living today, and it's relevant today. So for them to be in there going, you're imposing your belief, it ain't a fucking belief, mate. It's life. This is how this person is. And however that comes around, if it's chemistry or whatever, it's science in some form that's happened with your body. And, you know, it's just ridiculous to suggest that it's a belief. And it really, really makes me angry. And shows that there is still a fucking long way to go, and shows that the Rainbow Laces campaign is still utterly needed. But, yeah. And it's bad because, there will be plenty of Christians out there, and we'll stick with Christians for the purpose of, that's what we're talking about, Mark Gay's family, who will be more contemporary with their thinking around it and be like, you know what? Yeah, it is, the Bible's got to be considered outdated and wrong in these things, because if Jesus does love everyone, then that's where we're at. But, there's still going to be those hardcore lot that are scumbags, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't
right.
really want to talk about it, so I don't want to be, I find it hard to be coherent when I'm angry.
No, it's, I can only echo everything that you both said. It's, like you say, the best case scenario is he's saying, yeah, I'm a Christian and my attitude is promoting inclusivity from a Christian angle. But like you say, in his efforts to kind of explain it, he hasn't definitively said, this is what I meant. Sorry if it's been misconstrued, but I was coming from an area of inclusivity as a Christian. Sorry for any offence caused. Like you say, he's left it really vague. His dad's weighed in, and if you want, I know you get in the same trouble. So he doesn't do it on any other armband. If you want to make lovely religious sweeping statements, write it on your fucking vest all season and pull your shirt up when you happen to score a goal. Like you don't have to sort of cross the streams and cause what's quite clearly, a huge amount of controversy based on the fact that you've, as you've both said, the people that's meant to represent and, include and raise awareness of, again, it's now just shone a massive light on, it's absolutely still needed. And people that want to go, well, we shouldn't be fucking doing that. It's a football game. We shouldn't be getting it turns out we have to. So, I can only echo everything you said there.
And just in case there's an absence of clarity, the Ipswich player and the Man United player can go get fucked royally. just to be clear. Right, anyway, let's move on to something a bit more lighthearted. Oh, no, we can't move on yet. Wait, because Albert needs to talk to us about the request we got from BBC Newsbeat. Around the armband.
Not that I'm trying to draw the,
This is perhaps the most outrageous thing to come out of this whole scenario.
Yeah, forget equality for the LGBTQ community. Let's get the armbands out. Sympathy armbands for me, who received a text from BBC Newsbeat. Who we often do bits on BBC Radio and other stations. Hi Albert, it's a name from BBC Newsbeat. We're trying to organise a Palace meet-up tomorrow morning in London to have a conversation about Mark Gahey and the armband. Thinking, okay, I'm about to get asked to get the hat out, boys. Going to go represent the the podcast on BBC Newsbeat. But this last sentence was, "Would you know anyone who's under 30 and would be up for joining us? Thanks." Now, that's not very inclusive, is it?
I found that offensive.
Yeah. I put, did I say you want to reply?
No.
I put, hello, insert name here. Sorry, I don't. All my Palace associated friends are well over 30, I'm afraid.
Excuse me, sorry.
No worries. Thank you for getting back to me. Yeah.
Should have sent Bernie.
I felt like replying saying, you're just lucky I know how to text because I'm so fucking old.
Oh, dude. Well, maybe we can infuse a bit of young words into this podcast around the Newcastle game, because Albert, you took your son to his first game.
Yeah, it was his first match. He was very excited. And yeah, we what did we do? We took his little booster seat. He sat there with his Crystal Palace annual, just matching the players to the numbers. He had a lovely time. So I then said to him, "Do you want to come next week?" And he said, "Maybe." But that's me game to game. No, but it was really nice. He thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, and you've done a lovely clip where you've interviewed Bernie about his thoughts at the game. So do you want to hear that?
I mean, I have heard
you
it.
ever had a dream that you had you could
No, I'm sorry. That is not Bernie.
That absolutely fooled me there. I was like, what's he putting on that voice for?
I mean, he does do a good American accent, but that's definitely not my son. Not that I know of, anyway.
Have you never seen that meme of the poor kid who can't get his words out?
Mate, I'm 40. I don't do memes, mate.
We've just covered that. I'm too old for Newsbeat and memes.
Tell that to Newsbeat, yeah?
Right. Oh, sorry, I'll play the real clip now.
Hello, Winging It listeners. Albert here. I'm here with Bernie Curley. How old are you?
5.
And did you enjoy the game on Saturday against Newcastle?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was your favourite bit?
I really liked when Newcastle scored, but then Crystal Palace scored right after them.
You liked the bit when Newcastle scored?
No, I liked the bit after that.
Oh, the bit after that when we scored to equalise, you mean?
Yeah.
To make it 1-1?
Yeah.
Who was your favourite player?
I really liked Mark Gahey.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because he didn't really score any goals, but he was playing good.
Yeah, he did. He put the cross in for the equaliser, but he did score an own goal as well. So a bit of a mixed performance, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other players stand out that you liked?
No.
No, it was pretty mediocre across the board, apart from Mark Gahey, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? And how did you feel when Palace scored?
Happy, although you heart attacked me, Dad.
I nearly gave you a heart attack. Why?
Because you started cheering at a very hot, quiet point. It made me go, hey.
Yeah, so what would you give the performance out of 10 for Crystal Palace? If 10 was the best, what would you give the performance?
I would give it 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Excellent. Well, thanks for giving us your opinion.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Just one more question. Do you know what a curmudgeon is?
No?
No, me neither.
I think you need to be building your son's vocabulary in light of recent events. And no, so thank you for sharing that. It was very sweet. I loved your groan after he said Mark Gay.
He didn't really score.
Any goals? Well, kind of one in the wrong end.
Technically.
Yeah.
Very nice. As I said last week, appeared on the pod twice now. Florian from Germany came over for the game, for his first Palace game as well. And I gave him what I would describe as the quintessential Crystal Palace experience. So do you want me to run through what Flo got on the day?
Go for it.
Went down to Margiana's, the cafe on Selhurst Road, and got a big greasy spoon fry up at midday. He was buzzing. Okay. He absolutely loved the place.
I've never been there, so I can't speak to that.
But no, he was absolutely buzzing for some just shitty grub. So lined the stomachs there. Trotted up to the beer cabin. Had a couple of beers in the beer cabin. Then round to the fan zone to try and see your ugly faces. Which we did see Hesketh, but Albert was a no-show.
I don't.
Too ugly.
I was too busy getting fleeced for a third kit by the aforementioned Bernie.
Very nice. When we were in the fan zone, someone actually came over to Florian and was like, "Are you Florian Malberg?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Can I get a picture?" It's like, what the fuck is happening? So because he's moved, and as it will come up later, he now works. He doesn't work for Sky anymore. Well, not at the moment. He will again in the future. But he's working with Tony Kroos, who's set up like a Masters League in Germany called the Icon League, where ex-pros are playing six-a-side or whatever. And they're streaming it on Twitch with like famous German streamers. So amongst younger crowds, he's becoming quite famous. So like, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids and whatever. Yeah, and it was an Austrian kid who was just over with his parents to watch the game. And so he got spotted in the fan zone, which was fun.
Should have got him on Newsbeat.
I think Florian's older than 30 as well, though. Not the Austrian who come and talk to him. Yeah. So, a couple of beers in the fan zone out of the machines that pour the beers for you. Very nice.
Future.
Yeah, although they break down pretty much every time I'm there. So.
Why is the glass a funny colour? Have you noticed that? The cup's looks like it needs to go through the dishwasher. It's a funny, weird brown stain colour. Makes me nervous.
They just recycle it from the bin.
Fair enough. We've all got to do our bit.
Yeah.
Then we go to the game, obviously, and Munoz saves that part of the day. And then after the game, it's into the victory, which, if you've never been there before, it's quite the experience post-match. The longer you stay around, the more bananas it fucking gets. But
there's an escape to the victory pun in there somewhere.
There is somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
And there's a few interesting characters who wanted to have a few interesting conversations when they found out he was German. But he was like, a couple of them were a bit strange, and he was like, I just sort of politely steered the conversation in a different direction. So he was a good sport.
What's German for rainbow armband?
And then on the way home, quick detour via Tasty Jerk.
Now we're talking.
To get him his first experience ever of jerk chicken.
Oh, wow.
And we took it home and watched the second half of the Copa Libertadores final as he just next to me at the table eating the food, just like moaning orgasmically with every mouthful. Just being
still talking about the jerk.
The Tasty Jerk.
What? It's not your new nickname. What did he go for? A normal?
We went for two normals.
Zwei normalen, bitte.
No, it was we went chicken and rice.
Meal.
Chicken rice.
Chicken meal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good thing you didn't go before the game because it was fucking shut.
Oh, was it really?
Big sign on the door saying opening at 3:30.
You've ruined it for everyone, Albert. They knew you were
fucking.
But it's also just like they're missing out on a fortune.
Yeah, I think there was roadworks along the main road. So I wonder if there was some sort of electrical issue. There's a generator outside, but luckily I'd been couldn't really take Bernie to the Tasty Jerk pre-game, so we had to have something a little bit more mainstream on Thornton Heath High Road.
Wow. Talking of mainstream, you know what we did do the night before when Florian was here was order Don Eagles. Not
on match day prices, probably a bit cheaper.
It's still pretty expensive, but fuck me, it was good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
I mean, the fish was about 4 foot long. We could have shared a portion, to be honest. But yeah, it was. I was impressed. Really good.
Mate, you've given him a full old. You've done it. You really have done it.
Yeah, and he did say after, he was like, thank you so much for this, because tourists come and watch Premier League games all the time, but they're not really experiencing what a match day is like with proper fans and all that. So
the only thing you missed out on was the wide fitting shoe shop. That's the only thing. Yeah. Next time, you've got to give a reason to come back.
Next time, fair enough. But yeah, I think he will be back. But then he shared his stories on Instagram and all that, and there was Tony Kroos getting involved, liking all the pictures and stuff like that. So I reckon next time we get him to bring Tony down to Selhurst to play, we'll get him in. We'll drag him out of retirement and won't let him leave. You play in midfield now for Crystal Palace. Yeah. But yeah, no, excellent day. And as I say, Munoz saved the day, much to Hesketh's disbelief. But it was an interesting game, Hesketh. In the aforementioned victory, I was having discussions with Palace fans who were trying to tell me that Newcastle were the better side. interesting take.
That's a very interesting take. That's an Eddie Howe take. I thought they were really crap, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I think if we hadn't have got anything out of that game, it would have been an absolute travesty. Obviously, we need to be a bit better at taking our chances, but yeah, I mean, I didn't realise quite how bad it was until someone texted me that they had an XG of 0.02. But I was struggling to think of anything that Henderson had to do in the game. So when you're at that point, when your goalie's just stood around all game, they can't have been that good, can they?
Yeah, blocked shot from range was their only shot of the game.
Yeah,
and then of course we concede an OG. It was. Go on.
A team that's fairly tidy with the ball, but didn't create any chances.
Yeah, well, that was it.
Yeah,
They
I
were.
I wouldn't have said that was. I would have described that. I would have described us as that for quite a while, but
for many years. Yeah,
yeah. But on Saturday we actually had shots on target, which was you have to remind yourself. Listen, their overall play was. Yeah, they probably were a bit better than us at controlling the ball and keeping possession. And their, off the ball movement was great. And obviously they lose Isak at the fairly early on, and he's clearly a great striker and their focal point. Yeah, and that like I say, they probably controlled the game when they had the ball a lot better than we were able to. But I wouldn't just say I wouldn't have described them as being better than us. They just they were just a bit toothless, which we can appreciate because we've been toothless fucking on many occasions.
Yeah, but it reminds me of when people used to say teams are better than us under Pulis because they had 75% possession. It's like, yeah, but we won the game 2-0. And
yeah, exactly.
We let you have the possession and drew you in before we could hit you on the counter. Like there's different ways of playing football, and I thought Newcastle were really tidy on the ball in completely pointless areas of the field and never looked like carving us open. Yet any time we got some good purchase going forward, we nearly score goals.
There's many different ways of playing football, and some of them involve Stuart O'Keefe. Let's just deal with it.
They were very good at sitting on the floor, taking it in turns on sitting on the floor. They were excellent at that.
Bruno loves it.
Fuck. The point at which I think Joel Linton was down over by their fans for ages, and then got up finally and was being ushered 2 yards off the pitch, and then Isak fucking sit down. Yeah. Oh my god! So it was like a reset. We go again. Yeah.
And what the extra shithousery in that is, and it's not just Newcastle players that do it. There's a new thing now where even the sitting down part, actually getting on the ground, takes about 10 seconds.
They go in stages.
Yeah. They're like an old man whose back's gone, and they're like, and like, so even that they're wasting time even before they've actually hit the deck, and it was fucking infuriating.
Yeah, they had the air of a team that came for a draw about them from very, very early on. Probably particularly when Isak went off as well. Like, it does change their game plan, obviously, because I don't think there's any doubt he's a brilliant striker. And I think his goal against Liverpool last night or whatever is a sign of that, with fucking stonking finish that was. But but at the end of the day, a team isn't just one man, and to limit them to one block shot from range is quite astounding, really. And it kind of feeds to the Ipswich game a little bit, but still in context, it's like our defending from open play scenarios is just really fucking good. It's just really good. And the only times this season where it's not been good is when we've made individual mistakes. Looking at you, Trevor Chalobah, but it's only coming around from mistakes.
When we've made individual mistakes.
Yeah, and
you,
we just very, very rarely look like conceding goals from open play, but from set pieces, a little bit of a different story. But with the Newcastle goal, I felt like we were a bit unlucky because it wasn't like we didn't read it. Will Hughes read the little routine, but just wasn't quick enough to keep up with Gordon. And I think once it goes across the wall, there's not much Gay can really do about it, is there, Hesketh?
No, that's right. And it's one of those where on another day it could have pinged off Henderson's instep and gone the other way or something, you know. There wasn't much we can do. It was annoying because, as you say, up until that point, they hadn't really carved anything out, you know, nothing even remotely dangerous. So to see us get undone by that, which was a bit unlucky, was very infuriating, and would have been even more so had we not got that goal at the end there.
But it had to be Mark Gay, given all the Newcastle links. I can only imagine the conversations that were taking place in the away end at that point.
Yeah.
Message for his next armband: Jesus saves, but the rebound goes in off Mark Gay.
No, doesn't.
Yeah, it feels like Ant and Dec were in the background going, now score an own goal. But then we get what I've dubbed the redemption goal at the end, which is because none of our forwards could fucking do it. So Mark Gay crossed it to the back post for Daniel Munoz to head home and make up for missing. It's got to be the biggest sit and miss we're going to have this season, right, Albert?
I don't know. Oh, you've thrown down the gauntlet now. It's a bad miss, but you know, a fullback sliding it. You know, it's not like he's in the middle of the goal and it's rolled across him nicely. You know, he's sliding in. You know, I think Mateta can make a bit more of an effort to get on the end of it. But yeah, once he's on the end of that ball, yeah, you'd like that to go in. But you know, I don't think it's. I've seen far worse under much simpler circumstances.
Yeah, and then I guess the Dan Burn block from when he's trying to. Yes.
Yeah, he could have had a hat trick on another day. That's the mad thing. Old Hesketh, he's never going to score for Palace. He could have fucking walked away with a match ball.
Yeah, and lovely scenes when he does score the goal. Glasner running down the line, getting involved. A bit too heavy on the Jeff Schlupp in the shots.
Front and centre,
just being like, yeah. But
Premier League winner knows how it feels.
Yep.
A bit of shades of his goal against Bournemouth, to be honest, in that 1-0 win at Selhurst. Jeff Schlupp's goal that time ago. But yeah, great scenes and saved the day. Brilliant stuff, and meant that we going into the Ipswich game with that being a loss, the extra added pressure that would have brought would have been a bit. Yeah, but we do go to Ipswich on Tuesday, and Hesketh, you went down there or across there, up there.
I did go.
Let's talk about the game first, shall we?
Over there.
Was it slightly across and up a bit? I don't know.
What's all this?
Anyway, talk to us about it. What was it like? You described it as, what was it?
Oh, I don't remember what I described it as. When did I send you this? A bit grim, I think I said.
Yeah, okay.
To be fair, when we got there, so I got there pretty early at like 2:30, and it was fucking cold and it was pretty cloudy and grey. But yeah, it ended up being good. Like the away pub was directly opposite the station, which we went back to after we'd had a couple somewhere else, and they had a massive like bit outside at the back, sort of the beer garden, where they had a DJ who was playing all the songs that have become Palace chants, so like Venga Boys and stuff like that. So the atmosphere was great there, like absolutely packed. Everyone seemed well up for it. The ground was very packed when we got in there, like everyone trying to get up the stairs about 10 minutes before kickoff was pretty rough because there were pretty tight spaces, and the stewards apparently stopped letting people go to their seats at one point before kickoff. Thankfully, not us lot, but atmosphere was great. You know, I have to say, before we talk about the game, the Ipswich fans were absolutely awful. Considering, you know, when you're the team that comes up and you're basically thinking, right, we're going to go straight back down. Let's enjoy it and give it a good go every game. You know, like we did, like Huddersfield did when they come up. Ipswich fans were silent the whole game, like really silent the whole game. which really surprised me. And I don't know how much it helped us. Probably not much, but like the atmosphere in our end was absolutely brilliant. So real night and day comparisons there.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to do for them, to be honest, because if you think about, go back to our first season in the Premier League, and you think about when Tony Pulis came in, for example, and you're just like, and it was the whole, our season starts now, Fortress Selhurst, and the atmospheres at Selhurst Park were just incredible.
Unbelievable.
Game after game after game after game, and it undoubtedly got us results. And Ipswich needs to be looking themselves there, because if you want to stay in the Premier League, when you've got Palace and Bournemouth at home within 4 days of each other, you need to be on your fucking mettle and making it happen and getting behind your team. And if they're not doing that, then
yeah. I honestly, it was really, really surprising how quiet they were.
Fair enough. Albert, I've got Decore. Fuck it, he looks rusty, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's certainly not the player that he was before the injury, which is, that's what happens when players get bad injuries. I thought I was a bit surprised that he was starting, because I thought Lerma, unless Lerma was knackered from Saturday, I thought Lerma deserved to keep his place, really, if only in the name of sort of continuity. But yeah, Decore does look a little bit. It's all come a little bit too soon for him. But I guess you've got to play him to get him up to speed. So, away at Ipswich is probably the excuse to put him in. You're not going to. Again, we all love being proved wrong on this fucking podcast. You're not going to chuck him in against Man City, I imagine. So maybe it was more about giving Lerma a rest, giving Decore a run out ahead of the weekend. But yeah, he's. I don't see Liverpool coming in and wanting to buy him for 50 million like they did reportedly after his first season.
Yeah, Hesketh, do you worry because of the sort of injury it was, that because he looks slow more than anything, which is, there's going to be ring rust in terms of playing football, but it looking like players are running past him far easier than they ever did before. Because do you worry that pace is completely gone, or do you just think it's a getting up to speed thing?
Yeah, I think it's a getting up to speed thing, to be honest. I mean, I hope it is. But, he played, it was before his second injury, I think, but him coming on at Chelsea changed the game in our favour. More recently, I thought he was pretty good against Villa a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, Tuesday, he just looked off the pace. I think, again, getting on that, getting booked and then having that shove on the bloke on the halfway line, everyone then was like, right, get him off. And it is good that we've got someone like Lerma to come in. I mean, it's a great sub to bring on. I think it's just he needs to get back to full fitness. I think he'll be all right, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I thought he'd start against Ipswich purely because I think Lerma will start against Man City. So I just sort of assumed they'd try and sort of mix that up a little bit. But yeah, I'm glad that he was subbed off before he got sent off.
Yeah, good decision making at half time. Because if you think back to that Chelsea game that you talked about, he left Will Hughes out there for 10 minutes and he nearly got sent off as a result of it before bringing on Decore. So he learned from his mistake that time, and good shout to get him off. And I thought Lerma did really well when he came on. Henderson made an interesting save from a header, Albert.
What minute was that?
I don't think it was the minute where you were asleep. I think it was in the first half.
Yeah, I fell asleep at the end of the first half.
Oh, right. It
was at the end of the first half, in fact. Is the save, because we obviously where we were stood, so it was down, we were down that end, but it was the opposite side of the goal, so it just looked like the bloke headed it and it somehow got cleared. When we saw the replay, that's big dick energy, isn't it?
It really is.
It's solid.
Came threes a crowd inside his boxes. Another ball went at the play. Yeah, Yeah, he took it square in the nuts.
Oh, he's had what game was it? The Villa. What's the game where he got it right in the mush?
Well, consecutive games he got it in the face, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets anything in the way. What a guy. As last week's episode said, everyone's already jumped on the bandwagon. I think Hesketh post-match celebrations of him singing along with "We Love You."
Oh yeah, he was absolutely loving it.
Everyone's on board. Everyone's fully on board.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was like the last one back. You know, when they all went off to the tunnel, he was the last one there. He was absolutely loving it.
Probably trying to find his bollocks.
Yeah. I say we talked briefly about really good defending from open play, and Ipswich never really looked like undoing us in any way, shape, or form. Got one crossing down the flank, which was just behind the lap for a header. But set pieces caused a bit of problems. I think it was probably after we scored they hit the post and won. But we'll talk about the Mateta goal. What was? I mean, on TV it just looked funny when the defender fell over. Like, I don't know whether he slips or whether he just, Mateta's a bit strong for him, but it doesn't feel like that step over should have fooled him so much.
No, that was right. So where the step over was right where we were, like level with it. And it was just a funny, like a really kind of like over the top step over, and then he just fucking accelerates, and the next thing the bloke's like rolling on the floor. It was like, yeah, I mean, Palace put the thing up on YouTube. It's like the goal from every angle or whatever. It's just fun. Like whatever angle you watch it from is funny. The step over and the guy falling over within a second. But it was, to be fair, it was a great finish. Like lofted over the keeper, and you can hear when you watch the goal back on the telly, you can hear Palace fans cheering before it's even gone in. Like,
yeah, I've seen some great video, like fan footage from the angle you guys were on. Like as soon as it leaves his boot, it's in the goal.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's one of those ones just celebrating before it's in.
I mean, the celebrations of that goal were pretty good, gotta say. Yeah. I mean, and it was a really good move, all told, because he sort of started it off with the header back across to Lerma, who gave it to Eze, who set him up. So we need to do more of that. We need to move the ball as quickly as that, a lot more, and then I think we'll get a lot more goals. To be honest,
that brings me on. What do you think of Eze's return so far? Because I'd say moving the ball quickly, as you've just said, there is the thing that's not quite happening at the moment.
Not on the menu. What's weird is I read a match report in The Guardian, I think, that was saying how good Eze was. And me and the guys I go with know an Ipswich fan who was there, and he was like, oh, Eze's on a different level, where all of us were like, he was still pretty average.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I thought he was better against Ipswich than he was at Newcastle, and he was doing. He's doing really great, neat things like turning away from two players and finding himself in space, but he's still barely over the halfway line, and then and it might be because the movement isn't right or there's not enough players ahead of him, but it just feels like time then just fucking absolutely stops, and you've beaten those two or three players for no real reason really, other than just to the ball ends up going backwards or sideways again.
Yeah, there's definitely we're having problems moving the ball quickly, especially in transitions. And it's kind of frustrating, especially at our core as Palace fans. We're a fast-hitting, counter-attacking side. That's we've talked about it before. That's what's in our psyche. So
honest.
A lot of the time now, it's like coming back and resetting to the centre backs and getting into shape, and then trying to build up for our patterns that we want to build through. But sometimes when you've got Eze on the ball, Mateta knows how to make a run in behind. Sarr's got untold pace, so take a risk sometimes, move the ball forward in the transition and try and make stuff happen. And in the one time we did, Mateta just pulls out a ridiculous step over, which no one can live with. It would have sent Sergio Ramos into retirement, like it would have. But yeah, so I don't know. It's definitely a problem, and I think there's been rumours in the press that we're looking for more forwards in the January window to try and resolve those problems. But I think Adam Wharton probably helps that when he comes back along, and hopefully he rediscovers his form from last season, because he does move the ball forward quickly with incredible accuracy as well. So
he can really spring an attack, can't he, on the break, Wharton. Yeah,
where the problem we have at the moment is that both our midfielders are effectively defensive midfielders. Will Hughes isn't advancing the ball forward that well. He's very, very tidy on it. We all love Will Hughes. No one's belittling him in any way, but he's not Wharton in that forward-looking sense. So it'd be good to have him back. Then we have a really interesting scenario where they give Eze offside and don't let the play out, and Eze is not fucking offside.
Was he not?
No, he was not.
Because we were all wondering, because the whole thing is you let the play go on until whatever happens, and then you call it back. So we all, I just assumed, well, he must be fucking miles offside, and they've just said, look, stop the play.
No, it's one of those ones where like people moving in different directions at the same time, so it looks like he's offside, but when you actually see the thing, he's not offside, and for them to stop it, because that we were like, I think we were 3-on-2 in there, and he's about to cut in on his right. It's just like this is ridiculous that they've pulled it up, especially in like completely.
He's about to cut in. He's about to cut on his right and completely stop and let them all get back.
It's also like completely not understanding Eze's style of play as well, that he's called it up, he's stopped it there by saying, has the move broken down or whatever, because Eze's just trying to draw the guy in to skip around him. So it's just really, really bad piece of refereeing. But alas though, we got there and we held on for the point. Could have had one. Nketiah was fucking fuming at the end.
Oh yeah, I bet he was.
Yeah, Mateta should have got his head up and just slotted him through, because it could have got that monkey off Nketiah's back, for scoring his first Premier League goal for us. It must be really
coming on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I'm more thinking it's going to be against Arsenal. There's something poetic about that it will score his first against Arsenal. But good win, really, really well needed. I don't know if you've seen that. It was Ipswich's first defeat in 28 games in midweek fixtures at Portman Road. Do you remember when we had a record
3
like
years
that?
or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Don't you remember we did that when we first came out to Premier League, and we all realised that we were like 23 games unbeaten at home on a Tuesday night with like 20 wins.
Yeah,
and then I think we added a couple more. We beat like West Ham on a Tuesday night at home and added a couple more wins before I think it come undone and we lost the next 4 or something.
as soon as we realised it was all over.
It was over. Yeah.
Was one of them Ben Teke putting Scott Dan on his arse?
Yes,
that was a good week. Yeah,
that was one of them.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Before he came to Palace and went on his own. No, I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. I love Christian Benteke. And of course, who can argue with the MLS Golden Boot holder? Do you know what I mean? So, fair fucks. Right, Man City's up next. Are we happy that they've got the win or not so happy?
Yes, ultimately, yes, I am. Because Dr. Crystal Palace can... that doesn't can put the emergency response medical kit away and offer a slightly more holistic, gentle treatment.
Okay. We can get a nice 1-1 out of it or something.
Yeah, exactly that. I fucking hate it when a team comes to whether it's Man City or whether it's fucking whoever, Ipswich, when a team comes to Selhurst and they're on the dire run of form. We all know what's happening, but City have now got a result, so we can all just normal services resumed. Let's just try and win it, and we haven't got to be the ones worried about being the first to lose in whatever it's been 6-7 games.
Yeah, fucking Forest ending the banter, outrageous. We'll come to Selhurst and beat us though, Forest, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Chris would. Right, and then just to end on a quick few questions that we've had in.
I am 40.
You are 40, yes. So we've had from Will Pickering, where's my hat? He did win a hat that I haven't got sent out to him yet. My bad.
I work with his wife, so
Yeah, no.
if you give it to me, I can pass it on.
Yeah, he did say that. But he lives down the road, and I was like, I'll drive post it, and then I got sick, and then whatever. But,
Careful, he's Will Pickering.
Oh? Lovely stuff. What have we got here? Jamie Yates, nice and simple. If you could swap Lacroix for Anderson, would you?
Nope.
No.
I'd quite like to see them next to each other, to be honest.
Hey, well, we know
Anderson ain't French. I'm out.
them next to each other, but you in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And then is Mateta performing again because we're approaching the January transfer window?
We.
He's gonna get a new contract, isn't he? It's coming.
Yeah.
No, that's harsh. He's no. I think he's knackered. You can tell he's still puffing and blowing. He's not had a break, And I'm a Mateta. I don't know what the second word is there.
You were
Skeptic.
the Mateta vendetta.
Yeah.
Not anymore. But that question was from Sergio. Thanks. And then we got from Reese. Will we get any incomings early doors in January? Now, obviously, Glasner's been putting pressure on that by talking over and over and over again about us not doing it. Do you think it's going to make us fucking iota of difference?
No.
Is this why Glasner hands in his notice in February?
When did we sign Wharton in the window? That felt early. Or should I say earlier than we're used to?
I don't think it was early.
In my head, it was at least...
Because there was a lot of... There was a lot of the back and forth about, now Blackburn want more. Now Blackburn want more. I might be wrong. I feel like that was the last week.
No, it was late because he made his debut a few days later, and that was on the 3rd of February.
Yeah. Same with Munoz.
Adam Morton have completed the signing of young defender Adam Morton. 1st of February, it was announced.
There you go. The deadline day.
That is early for us.
That is quite early.
That is quite early for us.
Yeah, we're counting that as an early summer signing, so that is early.
Well, to be fair, didn't Chris say it would have been announced the day before, but they couldn't shoot the video. So, there you go.
Nice plug for episode 50 there.
Yeah, lovely plug for episode 50, which is still racking up the listeners. So thanks to everyone for that. I'm really, really proud of that. Yeah, that's it. That's all the questions. Who we got next week? Who's after City?
Arsenal?
Are we into the cup games against the cup game against Arsenal then?
Fuck, I should know this.
I mean, you should know this. I'm the host of the podcast.
No, what am I talking about?
I ask the same fucking question every week.
Oh no,
Brighton,
it's the big one.
of course. It's Brighton.
It's Brighton. Oh, there you go. Brighton first.
Jesus.
Before we get into Arsenal-related activities.
Jeez, great.
We'll be travelling to that together, Hesketh.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Still toe caps on. Keep your nut down.
Ballys, all black.
One each.
One each. Oh, God. I'm going to have to take the right-footed one, though. I'm not sure my left ankle can haul around steel toe cap boots at the moment. Yeah, okay. So apologies again. We'll try and be back with you on a normal schedule next week. But life happens. We try our best. But thanks, Hesketh. Thanks, Albert.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad we got it done in the end. And
nice to see you out of bed. It's nice to see you out of bed.
Yeah. I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel after a week of flu. It's not very
Imagine
nice.
seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and then when you get to that light, it's Albert's face. That's back to bed.
Back to bed indeed.
Harsh.
Right. Anyway, look, Thanks for listening. And